Off-grid home, off-grid laundry facility, off-grid cooking facility, off-grid tanning center, off-grid wood center, off-grid view. Now, this is my dream. This is Mr. Hilder's dream. And you may look at all this and say, wow, this is my dream too. I'm loving it. But then you got a spouse that's looking at it and saying, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're going to cook out there? And you're going to do your laundry out there? And you're going to grow your food and have chickens and cut wood and hunt and... I ain't buying it. No, I'm good right where I'm at. What do you do? What do you do? Because I know, my friends, this dream isn't for everybody. And I am running into couples where one spouse sees this as freedom and another spouse is looking at this and saying, it's never going to happen, honey. At least not in my lifetime. So we really need, so we're going to talk. But just so you know, I'm not Dr. Phil. No, and I'm not like a Dear Abby. And I'm not giving any marriage advice. This is just a heart-to-heart talk with you friends. And maybe, hopefully, a little bit of advice and insight that can bring both of you together. Because you have one person who has this dream, and I get the dream. I get the dream because when I do my videos, I do them so that I can empower people and show them a different way of looking at life. And I think this is a great way of life. I think this self-sustainable road and taking the bull by the horns and making real changes to be more independent in your life is great, is awesome. I mean, I get excited when people buy canners. I get excited when people say, you know, I just went hunting for the first time and I bagged my doe and I'm canning the meat. I get excited when people say, I found a great sale on toilet paper. Or they say that they are doing a back to Eden garden method and they've got big peppers. That's awesome. Because the reason why we went off the grid is to create that self-sustainable life and to really live it. Really, 100% live it. I always say walk the walk, talk the talk. And when we came out here, even though we were pretty much living outside the box back in Wisconsin, this was the icing on the cake. Leaving it all, and I mean we left it all. We were both successful professionals. I was a nurse, my husband was a taxidermist. We were financially sound, we were debt-free. We had an established business. I had great credentials as a nurse working for many, many years. You know, we were giving up a lot. And not only were we giving up a lot, but we were going to an area which was uncharted, the mountains. We were moving all the way across the United States, from flatland to mountain. That was something else. And the bottom line is, we really had to be on the same page. We really needed to both want this, desire this, because if either one of us had a little hesitation, a little doubt, just wasn't up to par, up to that, believing that dream, I'm going to tell you, my friends, it really would have made it hard. It would have. So we looked at it that we really both needed to be on board. And we were. I mean, my husband and I really do think alike. Oh, that's pretty scary. Mr. Hilder probably wouldn't admit to that. And often, I do believe that men are from Mars and women are from Venus. It is a fact. But and the other fact is, no marriage is perfect. Don't believe that there are perfect marriages. Don't believe that it's always happy land. You see me and Mr. Hilder, and trust me, you're seeing good moments. You're seeing the good moments. We're not putting up the bad moments, and there are bad moments. That's what marriage is about. You got two different people, and even though you may have the same dream, you're still two individuals, and marriage is work. We all know that. You're married, you get it. Marriage is work. And there's no manuals, although a lot of people write manuals about marriage. But when you're in that relationship, it's tough. We're not communication experts. We don't have PhDs in psychology and psychiatry, and we don't. So many of us, when we get married, we're winging it. We're winging it, and that's what marriage is about. Winging it and adapting and giving a little and taking a little, putting up with some stuff, getting your feelings hurt, being disappointed, but moving on. That really is the key. Moving on, moving forward. So when we're talking about the seriousness of one spouse not being on board with your self-sustainable off-grid dream, that's a biggie. That's a biggie, because marriage already is tough. And then you have that elephant in the room. And you're dreaming one thing, and that spouse ain't dreaming it. He ain't dreaming it. Now, I think this is where everybody's waiting for the drum roll, right? You're waiting for the starry advice, the answer to your dilemma. Ooh, well, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't know what the answer is. Because if you are in a marriage right now and your spouse isn't on board, I wouldn't even be looking at, the issue is I want to go off grid and he doesn't. Or I want a homestead and she doesn't. There's something wrong there to begin with. And like I said, I'm not a marriage expert, but if my girlfriend was coming to me and was honestly asking me, what do you think, Starry? I want to go off grid and my husband doesn't want anything to do with it, and I can't convince him. I can't change his mind. I would first look at her and say, why are you having this dream and he's not? What is going on in this marriage that you are drifting down this road and your spouse isn't? Because that's a great divide. You're taking two different journeys in life. So I guess I would say, sit down and start reflecting and thinking about that marriage and where it's at today, right now, today. If you believe in Jesus and you are saved, you start praying about it. You start praying about it and you start asking God and you start reading His Word. You know what? His Word is going to feed you, and it will help you with that marriage. It will. But you have to believe that too. I think a part of our problem in societies here is we say we believe in God, and we say we are walking the walk. And then we get all upset when God doesn't answer us. Or, we're praying and praying and praying. We just don't understand what He wants. Because it's like a slot machine. We want instant gratification. We want to put the nickel in, and we want the answer. Well, for those of us who really get it, that's not how it works. So you might want to revisit that, your faith and your walk, and really start incorporating that a little bit more in your marriage. And trust the old Maker maybe to guide you in that. That's one of my answers. and I guess the other answer is, even if you have a great marriage and there's no communication issues and you just really feel strongly that you need to make a change and you're not seeing it in your spouse, they're working too hard, they're too wrapped up with the finances or whatever it is, start making those changes yourself. I've given this advice to many, many men and women. You can make those changes. You don't need to be off-grid, and you don't need a homestead in the country to be self-sustainable and to obviously make those changes. Buy yourself a canner. Okay, make yourself an outdoor dehydrator. Start shutting the lights off and buy a kilowatt meter, and actually, do like a off-grid day with your family. Make it fun. Teach your kids how to conserve electricity a little bit more so they understand the value of that. Do the same thing with water. Do stuff like get a Dutch oven, a Lodge Dutch oven. Buy a all-season solar cooker. Start using alternative ways to cook. Build yourself a pantry. There's so many awesome things that you can do as an individual within your marriage to start making changes that will make you more independent from all of the stuff that sucks us in and keeps us dependent. So, as an individual, you do have that power in your marriage. And maybe then your spouse will start seeing some of those changes and think, wow, that's pretty groovy. She made that meal with a solar cooker? And jeepers, we just saved like $50 on our electric bill? Hello? See? So there are ways to help that situation. You just have to, and this just goes back to scripture, being a warm, a loving spirit. Kill them with kindness. That's not scriptural, but you know what? You kill them with kindness. Goes a long ways. And as you set that example too, that goes a long ways too. So, there you go, my friends. That was Starry's, not Dr. Phil, not Dear Abby advice, just Starry heart to heart, real life advice from someone who's living the life. And like I said, I get it. Marriage is tough. Don't beat yourself up over it. The key is keep talking, keep communicating. Love always trumps all, really. It really does. And just remember to move on and forgive. Those are all biblical principles too. Pretty cool what God kind of lays out for us, isn't it? It's kind of like He knows what He's talking about. All right, friends. God bless, and I hope you found some value in this heart-to-heart talk with you and your issues with your spouses who aren't on board yet. You never know. Their minds might start changing after you watch this video. All right, God bless.